On the news hour tonight, suspected kidnappers storm Kachia town, abduct scores. Fire ravages Cantin Textile Market, millions in losses. NDLEA arrests Canadian woman with cannabis, seizes 9 billion naira opioids. On the international scene, Palestinian journalist 19 killed in Israeli raid after receiving threats. A very good evening and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. My name is Sagir Ibrahim. Now the news in full. Gunmen suspected to be kidnappers stormed Kachia town on Saturday night, firing sporadically and abducting an unconfirmed number of victims. Now, according to local sources, the victims included both men and women, among them housewives and young girls. Community members attempted to pursue the gunmen, but were forced to retreat due to intense gunfire. Military personnel later arrived and engaged the attackers in a gunfight, but the gunmen had already fled with their captives. And earlier, we spoke to Trust TV reporter in Kaduna, Bello Musa. He gives us an update.
The suspected gunmen attacked Rafi Singh. Rafi Singh is a community in Kachia town, which is the headquarters of the local government in the southern part of Kaduna State. When we arrived at the community, they were shooting sporadically, going house to house and kidnap numbers of people. Though I just got information that 5 people were killed, including one imam who was very popular in preaching against bandit and banditry activities in the area. After the attack, as you've said earlier, members of the community chased the gunmen, but they couldn't rescue their community members due to the heavy gunshot which lasted throughout the night, in fact till dawn. Though the military personnel arrived at the community, engaged the bandits who later withdrew from the scene. According to the locals, the bandits divided themselves into two, while one group escaped with the people and the other group stood their ground, giving cover to the other group to escape with the victims to the bush. They were shooting directly at the direction of the locals, giving cover to the other group to ensure that no one came close to them.
All right, Bello, quite a sad and unfortunate situation that this is indeed. But however, do we have the exact figure of those who were abducted from this community? What exactly are they saying in terms of figures of those who were taken away?
Well, one of the community members who just spoke with me like 5 minutes ago, he told me that 5 people were kidnapped, including one Imam Taisiu, who was he's very popular when it comes to preaching against bandits and banditry. So they were thinking that the bandits were specifically targeting Imam Taisiu. So far only 5 people were said to be kidnapped.
All right, Bello, you said something about operatives of the Nigerian army. Has there been an official statement from that quarter?
There is not a special statement from the Nigerian army, no statement coming from the Kaduna State Police Command or state government. Despite, I called the...
Go ahead, Bello. Go ahead.
I called the police PPRO in Kaduna here, Alhassan, but I couldn't reach him on his phone. We are yet to hear or see any report coming from these quarters.
Bello Musa, Trust TV reporter there, giving us updates on the situation in Kaduna. Also, operatives of the Nigeria Police Force on Sunday said 3 suspected kidnappers were killed in a gun battle with operatives of the Delta State Police Command following a failed attempt to kidnap the wife of a Delta State House of Assembly member. The State Police Command also said the incident, which occurred at Okoloba Junction, Jakpa Road in Ubie local government area on September 2nd, 2024, also led to the deaths of 2 policemen and the lawmaker's driver. The Commissioner of Police, CP Olufemi Abaniwanda, immediately ordered an intensive manhunt for the suspects, deploying officers around Warri and surrounding areas. The suspects, under heavy gunfire, abandoned their vehicle and fled on foot, sustaining gunshot wounds in the process. 3 AK-47 rifles and the gang's operational vehicle with registration number WWR 436GZ were recovered, according to the State Public Relations Officer SP Edafe Bright. 3 of the suspects sustained fatal injuries and were later pronounced dead at the hospital. Another AK-47 rifle was recovered from the scene, while the search for fleeing members of the gang continues. And also, the Enugu State government has demolished another property linked to kidnappers in furtherance of its avowed zero tolerance for kidnapping. It also cautioned landlords against harboring shady characters in their properties. The state's criminal code law mandates the demolition or forfeiture of such properties. Speaking with journalists at the site of the demolition, the executive chairman, Enugu Capital Territory Development Authority, Uche Anya, confirmed that a mansion located in Amaibo Oweli community in Augu local government area was used to hide kidnapped victims. Anya stated that a video of a male kidnapped victim who had several AK-47 rifles pointed at his head in May 2024 was recorded in the same building, adding that security agencies were able to track the building, rescuing the victim while also apprehending most of the criminals and recovering a cache of arms and ammunition. He further noted that several AK-47 rifles, semi-automatic weapons, and different types of ammunition, including dozens of prescribed and offensive weapons, were recovered. And elsewhere, a devastating fire swept through Canos' renowned Cantin Textile Market, one of Nigeria's largest commercial hubs, on Saturday night. The inferno wiped out goods and properties worth millions, leaving shop owners reeling in shock and despair. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim brings details.
Some damaged textile materials were among the few salvaged from the inferno that tore through this building at Cantin Textile Market. The fire, which ignited at Gidan Inwa Meimai at Bayajidda Street, housing over 100 shops, spread swiftly, destroying at least 15 shops. Shop owners, desperate to contain the blaze, struggled in vain until emergency services arrived to take control. After I returned home yesterday, at about 8 p.m., I received a call informing me of the fire. Then, when we came back here, we started what we could do to put out the fire, but it was beyond us. And then, luckily, the fire service came. I rushed back here around 8 p.m., although many people were here to help, and the police were also here to prevent some people who made attempts to loot property from other shops during the chaos. Authorities have attributed the cause of the fire to an electrical fault. The blaze has resulted in the loss of millions of naira in textile goods and personal property, delivering a devastating blow to the livelihoods of countless shop owners in the market. Some of us lost everything, like Alhaji Zayano, Sani Tahir, and then several others whose goods were completely burnt. Up to 15 shops were affected. Our plea to the government is that if they can come here to see what has happened to us, to see what has happened to our source of livelihood and offer us some help. We need help because our losses are running into millions of naira. Traders are urging for stronger fire safety measures to prevent future disasters in the tightly packed Cantin Market. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News.
At least 80 houses have been reportedly destroyed by flood in some communities of Langtang South local government area of Plateau State, following a downpour in the area. Sources from the area told Daily Trust that the downpour, which lasted from Friday to Sunday morning, displaced many residents, leaving many families stranded and seeking refuge. Yintim Yohana Nimilam, Community Development Secretary of Babangida area, who spoke to newsmen, lamented the unfortunate development, explaining that several persons have been displaced and properties destroyed. And away from that, Borno State Governor Professor Babangida has affirmed his commitment to closing all internally displaced persons camps by the end of his second term. During the commissioning of a 500-unit housing estate in Kunduga local government area, Zulum disclosed that the decision followed intelligence reports revealing that Boko Haram terrorists were hiding in some of the camps. He further announced ongoing infrastructure renovations and housing projects in Dalwa and Aulari communities to facilitate the resettlement of more displaced persons. The 500 households resettled in the newly commissioned estate received packages that included cash, food palliatives, wrappers, mattresses, mats and other essential items. Zulum encouraged the resettled communities to engage in tree planting and issued a stern warning against selling their allocated homes.
This is not acceptable. The Commissioner, Director to the Commissioner for Education, to submit the requirements for the reconstruction and rehabilitation of its permanent site here in Kondoga. Inshallah, we shall do so. I want to advise the general public to support the initiative of the state government. Furthermore, I'm aware of the devastation to farmlands as a result of the flooding to communities in Kondoga local government area. And therefore, government of Plateau State through the Ministry of Agriculture and indeed the flood committee will soon come to the aid of the farmers that are affected by the flood.
This resettlement is done voluntarily, Your Excellency, in dignity and safety, and also in line with the philosophy of you are building back better. I wish therefore to call all our resettled members, this time around the returnees, to this community to continue to be resilient and to support the administration of Professor Babangida. And also let me call on the people to judiciously safeguard their communities and continue to pray to Allah to restore lasting peace in our dear land.
And the Quara State government has urged people living around the riverbanks in various areas of the state to relocate to higher ground following persistent rainfall recently in the state. The advice was contained in a statement issued on Sunday by the State Commissioner for Environment, Nafisat Buge, to guard against impending flooding in the state. Quara State has been experiencing persistent rainfall between Wednesday and Sunday, leading to reports of flooding affecting people around the Asha River in Unity Road, Taiwo Isale, and Isale Kuku in Ilorin South and Ilorin East areas of the state, respectively. The Commissioner described the situation as a global phenomenon which can be attributed to the effects of climate change on the environment as a result of both natural phenomena and human activities. According to the press statement signed by the Press Secretary of the Ministry of Environment, Kamaldeen Aliyu, the state government is deeply concerned about the impending flood situation and is taking proactive measures to ensure public safety. She said that to curb the situation, the government had embarked on the continuous dredging of the Asha River, construction of embankments, desilting of drainages across the state, provision of additional waste bins, expansion of the dump site for proper waste disposal, encouragement of waste recycling, an irrigation system for farmers, and regular advocacy and sensitization on environmental issues via the media and interfaces with relevant stakeholders, as well as enforcement whenever necessary. And the Plateau State Police Commissioner Emmanuel Olugbemiga has warned officers of the command against corruption, brutality and any other act capable of tarnishing the image of the Nigerian police. The Commissioner gave the warning while briefing police officers at the headquarters of the command in respect of the local government elections scheduled to hold on Wednesday. According to the Commissioner, the briefing became necessary in order to ensure a smooth and peaceful conduct of the election, emphasizing that the need for the officers to display an exceptional degree of professionalism and emotional intelligence throughout the electioneering period. Daily Trust reports that 11 political parties are participating in the election and have signed a peace agreement and promised to abide by the rules and regulations guiding the exercise. And also, the Rivers State Governor, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, has sworn in the newly elected chairman of the 23 local government councils on Sunday. The ceremony followed the presentation of certificates of return to the chairman, who emerged victorious in the local government elections held on October 5, 2024. Governor Fubara was joined by Bauchi State Governor and chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Senator Bala Mohammed, along with prominent political figures and stakeholders.
But please, if they are coming with violence, avoid them. The peace of the state is too important to us. It is on public notice. Everybody knows what they're planning. But please, I want to beg every one of you, follow my approach. At the right time, you always win if you're patient and calculative.
The Bureau of Public Service Reforms has commenced the training of retirees on effective strategies for embarking on their post-service journey. The pre-retirement training program is for retiring officers of federal parastatals and forms one of the cardinal programs of the Bureau. Salim Umar Ibrahim reports.
The pre-retirement training program is for retiring officers of the federal parastatals, which forms one of the cardinal programs of the Bureau of Public Service Reforms. According to the Director General of the Bureau, Ibrahim Dasuki Arabi, said the essence of the program is to prepare the retiring officers to face the future and to also ensure that the quality of their lives does not depreciate.
2004, when the Bureau of Public Service Reforms was established, one of the innovations that we brought up was to train public servants before they exit service, so that they will learn some skills as they exit the public service. They'll automatically build themselves and have something else to do outside the government job. It is known in the space of literature that retirement is a disaster. Now, this effort of government is to solve, block, and reduce the impact of that disaster on retirement on public servants.
Arabi added that while a handbook has been provided to serve as a reference point, he therefore advised the participants to make maximum use of it, both during the program and as a source material in the future.
That are yet to retire, we're hoping that from here they are going to pick a skill that once they exit the service, they will drive into that. Those that have retired, and from what you are saying, quite a number of them are virtually doing nothing. So we're hoping that we're going to handhold them to move into a skill. And you know, federal government, out of the 9 priority areas, engagement, provision of employment for citizens is among the priority areas. So we're hoping to build them and drag them into that.
Speaking, some of the participants who are already retirees expressed gratitude to the Bureau for giving them the opportunity, as according to them, has broadened their horizon on how to invest wisely and effectively.
A lot, even though that's part of this training is also my field, what I lecture, but I gained more and I refreshed more. We have been told of how to be careful with your investment. As a retiree, you are not supposed to go into long-term investment, go for very short-term investment. And as a retiree, you should also take care of your health, be mindful of what you eat, be mindful of when you sleep, and be mindful of the kind of work you do. Don't overstretch yourself, because the energy you have now is not the energy you used to have when you joined the system.
The training is taking place simultaneously in 6 centers across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, where seasoned training firms were selected through a competitive bidding process to facilitate the training program. Salim Umar Ibrahim, Trust TV News.
And more than 1 million Muslims, including children from Islamia schools, filled the streets of Ktina for the grand finale of the Maulud celebrations, marking the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Sunday, worshippers from all 34 local government areas and neighboring states had begun arriving in the ancient city to participate in the grand event. Abdullahi Yamidi completes the report.
Despite rising insecurity, hyperinflation and surging fuel prices, thousands of Muslims turned out for this year's Maulud celebration in Kazana. Major streets like IBB Way, Nagogo Road, Tafa Balewa Way, and Rafindadi Road were packed with participants and spectators eager to witness the annual event. Islamic performers accompanied by soulful singers praising the Prophet and his companions filled the air with prayers, while dancers captivated the crowd with vibrant performances that kept spectators enthralled. In the lead up to Sunday's grand finale, various Islamic organizations, Zawiyas and Islamia schools held Maulud processions across the ancient city of Katsina and other parts of the state, creating a vibrant atmosphere of celebration. As the Maulud procession neared its final destination, horse riders and those in cars and vans hurried to exit, concerned about potential attacks, especially those from other local governments. Meanwhile, traders and foods and drinks vendors seized the opportunity, making brisk sales amid the bustling crowd. Many residents were unable to attend this year's Maulud celebration in Katsina, citing harsh economic conditions brought on by the removal of fuel subsidies, soaring inflation, and ongoing insecurity affecting parts of the state. Abdullahi Ismail Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're watching the news hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Accident survivor defies physical limitations to create legacy. This and of course other stories when we return. Join us again. Thanks for staying with the news hour on Trust Television. Now a recap of our top stories again. Suspected kidnappers storm Kachia town, abduct scores. And fire ravages Cantin Textile Market, millions in losses. And to other stories now. Some workers across universities under the aegis of the National Association of Academic Technologists have issued a 21-day ultimatum to the federal government over its failure to honor the agreement it had with them in paying their 5.5 months withheld salaries. Daily Trust reports that the ultimatum, which was to also press home their other demands like non-release of enabling circular on counties 14 and 15, among others, was part of the association's resolution at its 56th National Executive Council meeting that was held in Taraba State. In a letter addressed to the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, which was signed by the NATS President, Comrade Ibeji Nwokoma, the association said it would ask its members to withdraw their services in the universities after the expiration of the ultimatum. Nwokoma warned that the union would not be held responsible if after the expiration of the ultimatum, which commenced from September 30th, and nothing was done to address their plethora of demands. Also, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested a 41-year-old Canadian lady, Adrian Munju, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. She was nabbed on Thursday, October 3rd, for importing large consignments of Canadian Loud, a strong strain of synthetic cannabis. NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi announced the arrest in a statement on Sunday, saying the suspect was apprehended during the inward clearance of passengers on KLM airline flight from Canada at the Terminal 1 of the Lagos airport. In a different operations, NDLEA operatives at the Port Harcourt Ports, One, River State intercepted 13,298,000 pills of opioids, including Tramadol, Trama King, Quick Action Tramadol, Tamol X, Royal Tapentadol, and Carisoprodol, as well as 338,253 bottles of codeine-based cough syrup, all worth over 9 billion, 17,771,000 naira in street value. The opioids were recovered in 3 containers coming from India, targeted by the NDLEA during a 100% joint examination of the cargoes with men of the Nigerian Customs and other port stakeholders on Wednesday 2nd and Thursday 3rd October 2024. For Muhammad Alhassan, life changed in an instant. A ghastly motor accident left him partially paralyzed from the waist down. His dreams and daily routine shattered by a spinal cord injury. Now, more than 7 years later, Alhassan is still navigating this new reality, facing the physical and emotional challenges that come with it. Each day is a reminder of the life he once knew, but also of his incredible resilience in the face of adversity. Here is Gibson Swatigo with his story.
I got an accident on 25th December 2016, which left me partially paralyzed from my waist down. So, I did the accident in Gombe.
Since that fateful day, Muhammad Alhassan's life has taken a drastic turn. At 37, once full of vitality, he now navigates the world from a wheelchair, forced to say goodbye to the life he once knew. Born in Yola South, Adamawa State, Alhassan is the eldest in the family, but his body now crippled belies the sharp and creative mind that remains active. The memory of the accident still haunts him. The pain, the helplessness, and the long search for health solution. His education came to a standstill. His wedding plans fell apart, and in a desperate bid to afford surgery, he sold his home. Yet, through it all, the Alhassan's spirit remains unbroken, determined to rebuild his life piece by piece. Thanks to the generosity of friends and well-wishers, Muhammad Alhassan was able to undergo surgery in India. Remarkably, his recovery was swift, showing incredible progress within just weeks. But while his body healed, the hope of walking again remains uncertain, resting solely in the hands of the Creator. For now, Muhammad's life continues from a wheelchair as he adapts to this new reality with resilience and grace. Upon his return to Nigeria, Muhammad Alhassan faced a new challenge, the burden of survival. Though crippled, he refused to let his condition define him. Determined to remain productive, Muhammad turned to innovation, creating practical solutions like the bucket heater, rechargeable fan, and charcoal briquettes.
I come to think of, let me try doing some briquette. So that briquette, I'm using charcoal powder, sawdust, rice sharps. So that is from those three things. I put the binder inside, so to make it charcoal, and that charcoal, it can last long. And later I still innovate. I call it a water cooker. The water cooker is a combination of petrol and water. As we know, petrol, so it has a gas. So I can put the petrol and water inside one container. And you know, petrol is heavier than the water. So the water can be at the lower level and the petrol is at top. So there is a device I made, and inside that device there is a blower. The work of this thing is just to blow the air inside the container, inside the bottle. So from that, the bottle, there is another hose I did, and the hose can go to the burner and it can give you fire for cooking, and it can work 100% as normal cooking stuff.
These ideas have not only provided him with a source of income, but have also made a positive impact on his community, promoting environmental sustainability. His unyielding spirit. Through the power of social media, Muhammad Dalatu is reaching beyond borders, training and empowering youth across Nigeria, Ghana, and the Republic of Cameroon. As a proud mentor, he takes immense joy in watching his trainees succeed, knowing that his innovations and resilience are not only transforming his life, but also inspiring and uplifting a new generation of creators and entrepreneurs. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Well, there you have it. Also, the Bashar Chiefdom Development Association in Wasi, local government area, Plateau State, has called for justice over the suspension of Rekna of Bashar Abdullahi Idris by Governor Caleb Mutfwang. The appeal was made during a press conference in Jos, the Plateau State capital. Trust TV's Ado Musa completes the report.
The Plateau State government on Wednesday announced the suspension of the Rekna of Bashar, sparking discontent among residents. During a press conference led by Dr. Zakari Dalatun, chairman of the Bashar Communities Development Association, the community expressed surprise over the decision. They emphasized that the Rekna, who holds the highest traditional title in the Bashar community, was appointed through due process in 2022 and questioned the need for the suspension pending an investigation.
It is necessary to put on record. It is necessary to put on record further that the appointment of the Rekna was approved by the governor only upon the receipt of the recommendation of the report dated 29th December 2022 from the chairman of the Plateau State, Plateau Council of Chiefs and the Emirs, His Royal Highness Da Jacob Jambuba.
Shehu Nyalun, a traditional title holder in Nyalun district, while fielding questions, said the selection of the Rekna was not challenged by any individual since 2022.
The position of the association, number one, is we want the government to rescind whatever decision they have taken in relation to the suspension or set aside of the Rekna of Bashar. Like we said, everything was done transparently in due process. And the documents are handy with you, which you have attested to it. So we want the government, one, to withdraw the suspension order placed on the Rekna. Number two, to affirm that election or selection of Rekna as duly done transparently done in 2022. That is our main position. We know the governor is a listening governor. We know by the oath of his office, he has pledged allegiance to do justice to all manners of people in the state. So that's our position.
The association urged the state government to ensure justice for the suspended traditional ruler. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Professor Obi Epiphany Azinge, SAN, has been crowned as the 14th Asaba of Asaba following the passing of his predecessor, Professor Obi Chike Edozian. During the coronation, the regent Edozian handed over the traditional instruments of office, including the staff of office and keys to the Ogwa and Asaba Appeal Court, among other items. In his address, the new Asaba vowed to usher in development to Asaba, with the Federal University as one of his top priorities for the ancient town.
That I will foster unity among our people and promote inclusivity and not exclusivity. That I will sow seeds of love and filial fidelity among our people. That I will encourage the establishment of welfare/development fund for community development of Asaba.
The one that left, the one that is coming is a good match. So Asaba felt a sense of relief that Professor Epiphany Azinge emerged as the 14th Asaba of Asaba. Asaba has expectations.
And residents in Lagos have been reacting to the 4 tax reform bills recently submitted to the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu. The bills, which are designed to align with the objectives of his administration, will strengthen fiscal institutions in the country, but also increase the tax burden on the citizens. Victoria Tokolo, who spoke to some of the residents, has more in this report.
The Nigerian Tax Bill 2024 provides the fiscal framework for tax regulation, while the Tax Administration Bill is established to clear and concise legal structure for managing taxes. The Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill repeals the Federal Inland Revenue Service Act and creates the Nigeria Revenue Service, while the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill is to create a tax tribunal and a tax ombudsman. However, all these bills will lead to an increase in taxes for all Nigerians, which will be a big challenge for many citizens who are already struggling to make ends meet.
Tax reform is going to bring hardship. Nigeria are going to suffer more because if you can look, I know so many companies now that are closing down. I'm into pure water. I'm a pure water production. I knew about 5 of my friends now they have shut down because of high inflation in the country. My talk on that bill is that the President Tinubu don't have mercy for this Nigeria. For this hard situation, the company is closing, private sector is closing, different things is happening in this country. That bill is not good. It's not good for the country because everything is hard. To pass another bill, to pay another tax is another problem. So I don't think that this president is the president of Nigeria.
Change for the tax form proposed by the president, it means, for example, we are buying this keke 380, 450 before for years back. Now we are buying this keke like 3.something million based on the tax they are giving to them. So the Nigerian government don't care about we common man. And they don't care. If the Nigerian government can bring like the tax of the most company down, so that the company will be reformed, at least it will be okay.
We know that Bola Tinubu is a leader, is our father. But the day Bola Tinubu enter to be a leader of this country, I'm so happy. I think say we don't see our Messiah. I don't know say what is going to happen in this country. We send message for Koboko to kill many people. As I sit down now, I'm a hand workman, I'm a panel beater. To eat, to feed my wife, they don't call me in my family to answer. It's a shame.
Despite the expected rise in the tax burden for Nigerians, the government believes that the increased revenue will be used to fund essential public services and infrastructure projects. The tax reform bills are said to be part of Tinubu's efforts to diversify the country's revenue streams and reduce its dependence on oil exports. Although the bills have been submitted to the House of Representatives, they still need to be debated and passed into law.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. More news after the break. Welcome back. This is the News Hour on Trust Television. And in business now, Nigeria has officially commenced the sales of crude oil and refined petroleum products in Naira. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, on Saturday said that in line with the Federal Executive Council directive, the sale of the products in Naira commenced on October 1st. This was disclosed in a statement by the Director of the Information and Public Relations Ministry of Finance, Mohammed Manga. Manga noted that the strategic initiative and bold step taken by President Bola Tinubu-led administration is expected to have a lasting impact on Nigeria's economy, enhancing growth, stability, and self-sufficiency. He added that the country continues to navigate the complexities of global markets and the strategic move positions Nigeria for success in the future. The move comes about 9 weeks after the Federal Executive Council approved a proposal by Tinubu directing the NNPCL to sell crude oil to Dangote Petroleum Refinery and other refineries in Naira. And leading deposit money banks in Nigeria have recorded a 141.75% year-on-year increase in their interest income for the half year ended June 2024 on the back of consistent hikes in monetary policy rate by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Reports said deposit money banks have been marking up their lending rates far higher than the raise in their deposit rates. Findings from the 11 leading commercial banks show the banks recorded 6.89 trillion naira as interest income on loans in the first half of the year, compared to 2.8 trillion naira in the same period in 2023. MPR is the benchmark interest rate upon which other interest rates in the money market are built. And away from Nigeria, Israeli forces have killed Palestinian journalist Hassan Hamad in an airstrike on his home in northern Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp, days after the slain journalist said he was warned by an Israeli officer to stop filming in Gaza. With the killing of the 19-year-old journalist whose work appeared on Al Jazeera and other networks, the number of Palestinian journalists killed since the war began has risen to 175, according to Gaza's government media office. The Committee to Protect Journalists says at least 128 journalists and media workers are among the more than 41,000 people killed since Israel launched the devastating war in Gaza in October 2023. Colleagues in the government's media office in Gaza confirmed Hamad's death, saying the journalist's home was deliberately attacked to silence him after he received threats. Hamad had been documenting Israel's war in Gaza for more than a year and worked as a freelance TV reporter. According to Palestinian journalist Maha Hosseini, a few days before Hamad's death, he had been threatened by an Israeli officer through a WhatsApp message and several calls ordering him to stop filming in Gaza. And also, thousands of demonstrators filled the streets of Ghana's capital, calling for an end to illegal mining in the country, also known as Galamsey. Some in the crowd insisted that they would continue to pressure the government until it addresses the issue and its damaging impact on the environment. The protest took place from Thursday to Saturday. Unlike a previous demonstration in September organized by pressure group Democracy Hub, police did not interfere with the protest. Determined to push the government to take action, the Catholic Church is gearing up for a peaceful demonstration against illegal mining on Friday, while the country's labor unions are set to declare a nationwide strike on Thursday. All it seems is that it affirms the stance and the president who went to beg the labor union. The labor union needs to understand this, that the lives of Ghanaians and they themselves is threatened by these illegal activities, said another participant. Protesters were also urging the government to free those who were arrested during a previous demonstration against illegal mining organized by Democracy Hub.
My motivation is to see that illegal mining stops in Ghana. We need to keep taking action. We need to keep going on strikes. We need to keep protesting to catch their attention because they're acting like they haven't seen, but we know they have.
The leaders can stop this very moment, but they are feeling reluctant to do that. It's not right. I don't know what they are waiting for, but what they are supposed to do is ban it now. They can make it a temporary ban. We don't care. All we want is just make sure the forests are reserved well. All they have to do is just match the soldiers there and stop LMC. That's all.
This attitude of the government is not surprising because we've heard some of the members of government say blatantly that they are not stopping now, they are not stopping anytime now. All it means is that it affirms the stance and the president who went to beg labor union. The labor union needs to understand this, that the life of Ghanaians and they themselves is threatened by this illegal activity. We say stop Galamsey and free the citizens now.
And in sports, referee Godfrey Philip Nakananga of Malawian nationality will be at the center during Friday's 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying match between Nigeria's Super Eagles and the Mediterranean Knights of Libya at the Godswill Ekpabio Stadium, Uyo. The Confederation of African Football has also appointed Nkakananga's compatriot Clemens Kanduku and Joseph Nyauti as assistant referees 1 and 2 respectively, while Botswana Kebetswe Dintwa will serve as fourth official for the matchday 3 clash starting at 5 p.m. Munkaila Nassam Adam from Ghana will be the commissioner, while Isaka Bubakar from Niger and Mayowa Akingbemisilu will be in the roles of referee, assessors, and broadcast venue manager respectively. The Super Eagles presently top Group D with 4 points from 2 games. Libya occupy bottom spot with 1 point from same number of matches. And that wraps up the news hour on Trust Television. Do not forget to follow us on all our social platforms and also catch our live stream on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Sagir Ibrahim, and on behalf of the crew, have a good night.